Okay, let's set the scene. Imagine a Boston courtroom. It's 1770. The air is just heavy, full of anger.
Yeah, really thick with animosity. And outside, people are still reeling from what they're calling the bloody massacre on King Street.
Exactly. Then inside, it goes quiet. And John Adams, a patriot, right? Everyone knows him. He stands up.
And he's about to do something almost unthinkable at the time. He's going to defend the British soldiers.
The ones accused of shooting into the crowd. It's just, wow.
You immediately see the conflict there. Adams, the colonist advocate.
Defending the Redcoats. I mean, this wasn't just any trial. It was hugely controversial. Think about the personal costs for him.
Oh, absolutely. People were furious. He lost friends over this, risked his entire public standing.
Right. So that's what we want to sort of unpack in this deep dive. We're looking at the trial itself, using the sources we have about it.
And the real focus here is how does something like due process work? The right to a defense, even when feelings are running incredibly high. It's a crucial question. Let's start with the prosecution. How did they present their case to the jury?
They painted a pretty stark picture, didn't they? Basically, disciplined British soldiers deliberately firing into a crowd of innocent Bostonians, cold-blooded.
Very much so. They wanted the jury to see it as an unprovoked attack by an occupying force.
And they would have invoked those really powerful images, Crispus Attucks, the others, dead in the snow.
Absolutely. That visual, that tragedy was central to their argument.
Mm-hmm.
It fueled the sense of outrage against British rule.
But then Adams steps in. He wasn't trying to excuse the deaths, was he? His angle was different.
No, he acknowledged the tragedy. But his whole defense strategy was about offering another perspective, another interpretation of what actually went down that night.
How did he do that? Through the witnesses.
Exactly. He meticulously questioned them, trying to build this timeline, showing how tensions escalated step by step.
Focusing on the provocations. Because it wasn't just a quiet crowd the soldiers fired into.
Right. Adams highlighted the insults being hurled, the constant barrage. And not just snowballs, but snowballs packed with ice, maybe rocks.
Ouch. Yeah, and pieces of wood, too, aimed at that lone sentry initially. You can kind of picture that one guy surrounded.
Adams really leaned into that, the idea of self-preservation. He argued, look, even though they're soldiers, an occupying source, they're still human beings.
And if they genuinely believe their lives are in danger,
they have a right to defend themselves. That was the crux of it. He tried to shift the focus from murder to, well, a desperate reaction.
And what about orders? Did he address whether they were actually told to fire?
Yeah, that was another key point. He emphasized the confusion, the noise, the lack of any clear command. It wasn't presented as some coordinated, disciplined volley ordered by Captain Preston.
More like chaos erupting.
Precisely. He wanted the jury to feel the soldiers' fear, the sense of being trapped by a hostile, potentially violent mob. That palpable fear was central to his argument against premeditated murder.
So it all comes down to the verdict. After all this, hearing both sides in this incredibly charged atmosphere, what did the jury decide?
Well, the verdict itself shows just how complex Adams made the case. It wasn't a simple guilty or not guilty across the board.
Right, it was split, wasn't it?
It was. Captain Preston and most of the soldiers were actually acquitted. The jury accepted the self-defense argument for them, basically.
Okay, but not everyone.
No. 2 other soldiers were found guilty, but of manslaughter, not murder.
Ah, so the jury saw some level of blame there, just not intentional, planned killing. They were still responsible for the deaths, but the reasoning was different.
Exactly. It shows the jury grappled with the nuances Adams presented. It wasn't just about blind retribution.
And when you think about Adams taking that stand, defending the most hated men in Boston at that moment, it's pretty remarkable.
It really is.
Yeah.
He put his principles, his belief in the legal process above, well, popularity and even his own political future, potentially.
And that act itself, defending the right to a fair trial even for them, says a lot, doesn't it? Especially considering the wider context.
It absolutely does. Here are the colonists fighting for liberty, for rights against what they see as tyranny.
And yet, in their own court, one of their own champions, this idea that even the perceived enemy deserves due process.
It underscored those very principles of fairness and justice they were fighting for. It set a kind of standard, even if it was controversial.
So the Boston Massacre itself, it obviously remained this incredibly powerful symbol for the Patriots, a rallying cry.
Oh, definitely. That didn't change. But the trial, thanks in large part to Adams's defense, added another layer.
A reminder that justice requires hearing all sides, even the unpopular ones.
Exactly. It's a testament to the idea that even amidst intense public pressure, the legal system, ideally, should strive for impartiality.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, I think the main thing to pull out is how, even in such a raw emotional event like the massacre,
That core principle, the right to a fair trial, to due process, was defended
yeah.
vigorously.
And that defense itself really highlights something fundamental about the ideals of liberty that were just starting to take shape.
It really does. And it leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? For you listening.
Yeah, consider how tough it is, even today, to stick to principles of justice when emotions are boiling over, when public opinion is yelling for one outcome.
How does this story, this courtroom battle from 1770, maybe inform how we look at our own justice systems now? It's definitely worth mulling over.